let's get to the bigger business of the day. And feel free to use the chat box as we continue with our presentation today, our sharing on so far how we are doing in our fitness journey, the goals that we have, and yeah, everything about fitness and wellness. So, okay, I'm trying to go to the next slide. Good. So our webinar today, we're just going to talk about everything food and fitness. The other webinar, we were able to do a bit on food. So today we are going to see how we are going to match both of them. And in a nutshell, that is me, your food doctor. I'm a licensed clinical nutritionist. I'm also a wellness and self-development enthusiast. I'm so passionate about life. I do quite a lot of things. I play lawn tennis, the acoustic guitar. I love a hot cup of tea and a nap. And one thing I believe in is that life begins when you decide to live and give it another chance. And so tonight, ladies, we are giving fitness, food, and wellness another chance. So what is fitness? I will say it's just a state of being physically fit and also being healthy. And whenever we hear about fitness, we talk about exercise. In the definition of exercise, I will say it is any physical activity that you engage in that causes your body to sweat, that increases your heart rate, and at least you engage in it for at least 30 minutes in the minimum. So that is a more elaborate definition of exercise. And also when you talk about fitness, we're talking about fitness reserves, a state whereby you don't just lose weight. It's not just about pumping your heart. It's also about your body being able to maintain whatever fitness goals you have. If it's losing weight, if it is maintaining weight, if you want to engage in aerobics. So that is all about fitness. And we are going to hear Carol sharing her own journey on fitness. So maybe you're wondering, why should we exercise? The first reason, I just tried to really bring down to 3 major reasons, actually not 3, 4. One reason why exercise is important, remember we're talking about fitness, it's because it lowers the risk of non-communicable diseases. We're talking about diabetes, obesity, we're talking about conditions or health conditions that come about as a result of our lifestyle and also the choices that we make in terms of our food. Exercise has also shown to improve, or let me say, increase longevity, in that people age gracefully, or they live more. People who really engage in exercise compared to those who do not. And a good example of that will be people in the Asian countries. If you look at people in Korea, Chinese people, Japanese people, they do really do well. And also those who take a diet we call Mediterranean diet, they really check what they are doing in terms of what they are feeding and also their fitness and exercise. Exercise also helps to improve insulin sensitivity. This simply means that every time we take food, there is a triggering of production of insulin. And insulin is a hormone that helps to convert whatever food we take, the sugars, the glucose, to be well digested and taken up in the body. So what happens is, if you have issues with your insulin, if your insulin is not sensitive enough, what comes out is a disease that we call type 2 diabetes, and nobody really wants to go into that direction. So once you are exercising, you're improving on your insulin sensitivity, and that lowers the risk of type 2 diabetes and any health complications that come as a result of that. Lastly, I will say exercise helps in stress management. These are just a few of the reasons that really come as a result of exercising, and not, I couldn't, I could not finish up all the benefits that come, but I saw this as very important. So in terms of stress management, we are in a place whereby you're working, maybe at home. There's just a lot that is happening. And one way of releasing that stress is through exercise, producing good hormones that really help your body in managing your stress. And as you're going to see later, stress management plays a key role in your wellness and fitness journey. Now, today we are talking about fitness. Let me just give you a briefing of what happens in your body when you exercise. From that photo that you can see there, if we all did biology, Sylvia, do you remember a cell that we used to call mitochondria? Actually, I have been really
Marie, you're fading out.
spotlighting it.
You're fading out. Come closer.
Sorry, am I audible right now? Is it better?
Yeah, now it's better.
Awesome. Let me talk to who? Let me see. Who can remember what a mitochondria is? It looks like a very big name. You can give me a thumbs up in the chat box. I have been spotlighting Sylvia, so let her go for now. Vicky, do you remember a mitochondria? Just a yes or no. I'm not asking you to explain quite a lot.
Yeah, it was a plant cell.
Really?
Plant cells, that's all I remember.
A cell.
Okay.
All right. Who else wants to give it a try? You can also use the chat box. Power bank ya mwili. Sylvia. These are the people who used to get A's in biology. So I will actually go with that. Yeah, it's part of a cell in the body. And as Sylvia says, simply it's power bank ya mwili or the body factory. So every time you engage in exercise, you help the mitochondria or these body factories to increase in size and increase in number. And this is very good for your body because it's also creating more capacity for oxygen that you really need. It's also helping in all the functions of it's helping your cells to function in a better way. Also, when you exercise, you take your body through a stress period. Like today, we had a friend, one of us who is in part of the physically bold woman. There is that she was sharing how she's feeling some pain because of some exercise in. So what this translates to is when you exercise, you take your body through some stress. After the stress, we come back to recovery. So during this time when you're going through the stress process, there is the breakdown of muscles. There is also the breakdown of sugars. And afterwards, during recovery, now there is this repair and build-up of all the muscles. Digestion is taking place in a better way. There is the burning of fats, of stored glycogen in the body. And also the nutrients that your body really need are being backed up. So this is where now you really need to remember, every time I exercise, what am I doing? I am helping my power bank, my body factory to function efficiently, to function even better. I am helping my body to recover from all the stress that I've been going through and to actually build better stores that I need for my body. Now we are done with fitness, and I would really want to, before we go into healthy food, we are talking about food and fitness for those who have joined us. I will just want to hear from us one or two things. What is it that you're hearing so far in matters fitness, in matters exercise? And you can use the chat box. I have seen we have Martha. Welcome. Ruth has been with us. Ruth, if you're in a position to share, you can unmute and just share with us what are you hearing from the conversations that you're having right now. Hi, Ruth. Okay, probably she's not in a position to unmute and talk to us. Let me see who else we have. We have Mother. Mother, you in a position to unmute and just share with all of us what are you hearing from the conversations we are having?
Hi guys. I was just joined. So I found you when you were talking about what happened to the mitochondria when you exercise and all that. So allow me to follow and then I'll contribute later.
Wow, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, let me get one more person. Masho, I think you haven't been able to join our audio. So let me go back to Carol. Carol, what are you hearing just from that short introduction on fitness and exercise? Caroline Mbogo. Let me check in the chat box as well. Okay, Ruth is saying she's in a noisy place, not able to unmute. Feel free to use the chat box as well. And yeah, that's still okay. Yeah, let me just read what is coming through in the chat box. Ruth is saying, I'm learning that physical exercise is so important to wholesome being of the body and general rejuvenation of the body. Exactly. Like to keep your body moving, we really need exercise, whether you tiny, whether you are a full figure, no matter where you are at in terms of your body composition, all of us need exercise. So I had pointed out Caroline. Caroline, you can feel free to use the chat box and I will read what you got. So ladies, let's now see what we have on healthy food. Every time you hear about healthy food, in nutrition, we really come down to healthy food, but in food science, we say everything is food. So when we're talking about healthy food, we are talking about feeding from all food groups. And this includes fruits, we have vegetables, we have grains, we have proteins, we have dairy sources, we have all fats and oils. But in terms of foods being healthier, in matters carbohydrates, we're talking about low glycemic index foods and low glycemic load foods. And now, I think this looks like a jargon. What does these two statements mean? Simply means, it means foods that when you take, you remember we talked about insulin sensitivity. So when it comes to choosing carbohydrates, we are talking about choosing whole grains and carbohydrates that cause the blood sugar levels to rise gradually, not to cause a spike in the blood sugar levels. So that is what we talk by low glycemic index food. They don't really lead to a shoot in the blood glucose, but it causes the blood glucose levels to rise gradually. And that is what we want, especially in people who are not only people who are suffering from type 2 diabetes, but also for healthy individuals. In matters healthy food and fitness, we're talking about proteins helping us to build our muscle. Most of the bodybuilders will use whey proteins. They'll use different kind of protein sources just to help in building muscles. Well, for us, maybe you just want fitness. You may not really go deep into really wanting to use the protein powders unless your fitness goal is to build more muscles. We're talking about choosing fruits and vegetables. I usually tell my clients, go for a rainbow look. The more colorful your fruits and vegetables are, the better, because you're getting all the antioxidants. Antioxidants are the good guys in the body. They help to fight all the bad guys in the body. Let me say that. The bad guys are the oxidants. So when you say anti, they come against the oxidants in the body. Also, fruits and vegetables are rich in minerals and vitamins that really help even in electrolyte balance. We're also talking about fats and oils, healthier sources of fats and oils. They also act as a source of fuel, and a practical bit of this would be there are foods that are rich in vitamins A, D, E, and K. For example, carrots, we have mangoes. Whenever we are taking these foods, it's good to stir fry just a bit so that we are able to get all the vitamins that are fat soluble in our body. As we continue talking about food, healthy food, we are also talking about food portioning, being able to know, yes, I know this type of food I'm going to take, but what amount am I going to take? And today, I just want to introduce us to something we call the diabetic plate. It's called this way because it really works for diabetic people, but generally, even for healthy individuals, it plays magic. A diabetic plate, from what you can see here, is just portioning your plate in 3 portions, whereby you have a quarter of the plate being protein sources, another quarter being starch sources. And if you're able to choose low starch foods, and half of the other plate being full of non-starchy vegetables, and also a portion of your fruits. As we continue talking about foods, we're also talking about timing your meals. You want to be in a position whereby you're not taking your meals, maybe your last meal, 2 hours before you're going to sleep or 30 minutes before you're going to sleep. You want to give yourself some time before you take your meal. Also, timing your meals comes in handy, especially when you're talking about intermittent fasting. And I think Sylvia was sharing how she's doing that, and also Carol will also be sharing. And then lastly, we're going to talk about food handling and safety. Food handling simply involves washing your hands before handling any food, separating raw meats from other foods to avoid cross-contamination, storing your food appropriately. There is what you call a 2-hour rule, like any food that you get, if it's the leftovers, it shouldn't stay on the counter for more than 2 hours. If it is frozen foods, you should not defrost food for even 30 minutes is actually more. For frozen foods, just take your food from the freezer immediately and just cook it. Or if you have to defrost, use the microwave, defrost it and cook immediately. Do not let it stay in the counter, because what that translates to is an increment in multiplication of the bad guys, the germs, the microorganisms that really contribute to foodborne illnesses. We are also talking about food handling and safety, cooking food thoroughly, especially meats, because they are the major cause of food poisoning, and also checking our storage temperatures, keeping our refrigeration temperatures at below 4 degrees and freezing temperatures at below negative 17.8 degrees. So there is quite a lot when it comes to food. It's not just about purchasing, not just about knowing what you're taking, but also handling. And even as Carol, I'm welcoming you to share with us in a while. So as I come to conclude on fitness and food, the relationship that comes in, there are some practical ways that we can really bring into to see that we get this. It's not a big deal to really get ourselves into fitness, and also incorporating food and fitness, that relationship being stable. So what are some of the things that you can do? There is something I actually learned from a nutritionist called a doctor called Dr. Berg. He calls it vigorous intermittent lifestyle physical activity. So this is being able to just involve in any physical activity for a short while. For example, you are seated for 30 minutes and you go for a break for 5 minutes. So instead of sitting, you can decide to climb stairs, do maybe 10 push-ups. I see this most times in movies. You can choose to do a sprint, go back to your work, especially for people who sit for long, and come back and just continue with your push-ups. Also, there is this hack whereby when you work out after taking a meal, you are actually bound to get more sleep and even possible more fat burnout compared to working out before a meal. So there you go. If you eat at 6 and you're like, maybe you're watching your news, you could just decide to do a few steps, just some small workout. It could help, or even maybe just go for the intense workout. Also, add a portion of your protein to build up muscles. Now, this hack, what it means is, if you're working out, you would want to increase your protein content to build up muscles, but do this remember, the protein that you're taking right now is not going to be used in the body immediately. You're going to reserve that maybe for tomorrow or for the next workout. Also, just try going for a walk after eating. Find a routine that you enjoy, and I'm glad we have Paps here and other ladies in the Physically Bold Woman. If you enjoy walking and you don't like going to the gym, choose walking over the gym, because that way it is also more sustainable. Also set timers to remind you to work out, do some stretch exercise, and also diet according to your body goals. If you want to lose weight, be sure you won't be adding carbohydrates in your diet. And if you want to gain some weight, you'll want to really add up some carbohydrates in your diet. So every time you're really coming into setting that synergy, that balance between fitness, between food, you really want to make sure whatever you are doing is really inclined to your body goals and to your wellness and fitness goals. Yeah, so that is basically on fitness, the relationship between food and a bit of food handling. So keep the chats coming. I was just checking on the chat box before I welcome Carol. So I have Ruth has a question. I think I will answer that as Carol shares, or maybe during the Q&A session. But before I invite Carol, let me just invite one person to just give us what they are hearing on how fitness and food really come into play. So I have Rose. Anyone can unmute. I have seen Carol, Betty, or let me call Caroline Mbogo because she was not able to share previously. So Caroline, maybe what are you hearing from all this conversation between striking a balance between fitness and food? Okay, I think Caroline may not be able to share. So what you're going to do, just keep the chats coming. Right now, I'm going to invite Carol to share her journey. And before she comes in, please send me all the reactions that you can get as you invite her. You can do drum rolls, you can clap your hands, you can send love hearts. Yeah, as we invite her. And Carol, the floor is yours. I am checking to see the reactions that are coming in.
Okay, hi everyone, and thank you so much, Marie, for facilitating this session, and even for this opportunity to get to, share my story. I kept losing. I'm hoping that I'll be able to just be audible and keep myself on until the end of the session. I kept being logged out. I don't know why. But anyways, sorry.
Carol, let me confirm. We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Thank you. So as Maria said, my name is Carol. I'm a mother of 2 children. My firstborn is 11, going to 12, and my secondborn is just recently turned 6. So I've been on this journey of fitness from, let's say, in 2010. That is the first time I ever went into the gym, and of course that was pre-baby. I wasn't really active. I was just going because my job situation at that time required me to. Like I had a boss who believed that working out, brings out the best in you in terms of mind clarity and all that. But I used to just go to the gym for the sake of it. I think just to show the boss that I'm obedient to what he was saying. And then fast forward in 2012, I got my first baby. And prior to that, I was 58 kg, pre-babies. And then I got to get the baby, and I was around 73 there. So of course my body changed in terms of the way I was looking, and I thought, after my baby was reached around 1 year, I decided to enroll into a gym. Of course, I was very clueless in what I had to do, but thank God I met very amazing instructors at that point, and they took me in and showed me ways to do that. And to be honest, at that time I was not really focused on what I was eating. I used to go to the gym, and maybe when I get home I would just eat anyhowly. But thank God at that time maybe I was also a bit young, in my late 20s, and that could have been, my metabolism maybe at that time came to play. Like I lost the weight and went back, not really to 58, but I went to around 61. And I felt that my body had really transformed into what I would have wanted at that time. But also, I really fell in love with fitness, because I think I was surrounded with a group of people who were very passionate about it, and we would be accountable, hold each other accountable. So I found myself that regardless of having lost weight, which was my initial goal of enrolling into a gym, I continued working out, and maybe until around 2016. I think 2016 I moved from where I used to live. So of course I also moved from the gym, and that year I took a break, I would say. And in 2017 I got pregnant again, and you see at that time I was working maybe with around 65 kg, and really I ballooned with this second child. And from what Maria shared, that is me a year after the baby was, of course with my second child I did a CF, and you're told you need to allow yourself to heal before you can go back to working out and all that. So I took a year, just breastfeeding and doing all that, and then I had gotten the baby in 2017, December of 2017. So I stayed in 2018 without going to the gym until maybe towards the end. So this image is me in the gym, maybe having worked out for around 3-4 months. And you see, having had the experience that I had after the first baby, I expected my body to bounce back, after going back to the gym. And of course, from what you can see, it was not happening. So yes, I used to go every day to the gym, but then the results were not all that. And to some extent, I was feeling discouraged, but I still had to hang on, because that's all I knew. And to be honest, I've not really been very good with dieting. I admire people who are, keen on that and intentional with keeping their plates clean, because it's not easy. Just ensure that you're watching what you're eating, calories and all that. So I wasn't watching what I was eating, but I was going religiously to the gym. And then around that time, there was this fad of intermittent fasting. I think in Kenya, intermittent fasting was really out there in 2019. And I also, because the posts were all over social media, so I also got to experience that and get to have a bit of an understanding of how to go about it. And to be honest, I've always struggled with fasting. It's not been something that I've done successfully in the past, even for prayer or anything. So I was battling, and going back and forth, wondering, can I be able to really stay away for food for hours? But then I said, I have nothing to lose. I've tried working out, and now at this point, we are talking about 6 months in. I'm not really seeing a lot of changes in terms of the inches, and of course the weighing scale. And so I said it will not hurt trying something new to just see how my body will respond to it. So, well, I started the intermittent fasting, and of course, we were being shared information online. And at that time, if you wanted to get deeper, like if you wanted to get more information, we were being asked to purchase books. I think there was a lady who was she was so much into this, and she had even, I don't know, wrote books about the same. So anyway, for me, I just said, I'm not even going to go deep into it. I'm just going to do the bare minimum. So I started out as trying just for a few hours and like that, and then I would challenge myself the following day. Can I push an hour more and all that? And of course, at that time, we were being told, once you fast, you can be able to eat anything, you can indulge in any kind of food without the guilt that comes with it, because of course, there is that deficit of calories during the fasting period, and then you can be able to consume anything that you want. So anyway, I started out, at that time doing a maximum of 24 hours. I would most of the time I would end up just having a meal a day, maybe do 24. But as I was starting out, it was 16/8. I went building 18/6, like that, and then I would just try different hours. Today I would do 24, like that. And sometimes I would, but the maximum I ever did at that time was 24 hours. And then, of course, I would indulge in anything that I felt like at that time. But that really was a game changer for me. I started noticing, changes almost immediately, like say 3 weeks into the fasting, and you see, once you start seeing results, then you're motivated to do more. But I did not go past the 24 hours at that time. Fast forward, of course, I lost the kgs, and I got to where I felt now my body was going back to where I would have wanted it to, and I enrolled back to the I was just trying to go back to the gym. Yes, I'd taken during the intermittent fasting, when I was doing it religiously, I'd taken time off the gym. Because you see, at times when you're very hungry, or your body has no carbs to keep you going, then you have no energy to do much in the gym. So I'd taken a break off the gym. But once I started seeing the changes in my body and got to a place where I felt now I'm doing very well and I've gotten a routine, I went back to the gym. But then in 2020, Corona happened, gyms closed, of course, so we were not doing much. And at that time, that's when we said, because we had gotten a retheme together with my husband, we said, okay, let's invest in gym equipment so that we can be able to still train in the comfort of our home, sorry. So we bought it's called a home gym set, where you can be able to do a variety of workouts using that. We put it in one of the rooms. I wasn't very keen on it because I'm telling you, of course, it's not easy work. I'm sure some of you can relate. It's not easy working out by yourself, like where no one is watching you, where you're not accountable to anyone. So I was, just doing it here and there, not very religiously. And then in 2020, so that is 2020, 2021, I was just working out from the gym. Sometimes I would wake up, go for morning runs, and just come and lift a bit of weight, and that's it. So in 2022, I started posting on my status. I would just share snippets of my workouts here and there. And then, people would tell me, if there are times when I would not post anything, people would tell me, oh, but Carol, you've been motivating us, post. Just keep posting those things, and maybe even you can put the workouts on YouTube, for just people, for some of us to follow, because we have been using some of the workouts that you post for like us using them at home. So in 2022, I was constantly working out from the comfort of my house, of course, and maybe towards the end, around October there, I opened the YouTube channel, and I used to, now you see, when you have a YouTube channel, you're kind of forced to get out of your comfort zone. So I felt like I had an audience of people who, of course, I did not know, and they were expecting to see, me posting videos every now and then. And of course, I used to work out every day and edit the videos during the day and post them, and that kept going until January of 2023. And at that time, that's when I started feeling some pain on one of my knees, and it was really bad in a way. I could not continue working out. So I went to the hospital. I was sent to a physiotherapist. Of course, upon assessing me, I was told that my knees had some wear and tear from constant using it, like grease in Koimeisha. I do not know how to put that, but yes, you understand that over time I've overused my knees, because I think of all workouts that I enjoy, and I think most women do, is the lower body workout. So I used to really be big on squats and lunges and things like that. So the physiotherapist advised me it's time to give the knee a break, because if I continue like that, then I might not even be able to use it for normal activities like walking and all that. So I stopped doing anything. And you see, when you cannot be able to do very well in terms of keeping your plate clean, then you have to find a way of just being active. So at that time, I went through a process whereby I was feeling, I'm lost because I cannot be able to work out because I was in the process of healing. But also, at that time, I was also trying to really keep the plate clean. And you see, the people who have always followed my journey kept telling me, hey, but Carol, these days you don't post anything. So I found myself that most of the time I would post now things that I'm doing in terms of what I'm taking for breakfast, the kind of smoothies I'm making, nini. And at that time, I think I was also holding myself accountable that at least I can be able to do this. And then along the way, Paps, because Paps is my sister, and at that time she had started walking, I think around June of 2023. So I was inspired by, she started a challenge of at least 10,000 steps at that time. So I saw myself, oh, by there I cannot run because, my knee is bad, and we used to run in a tarmac area, which of course actually really does a number on your knee. So I opted to start walking. So I also set a target of 10,000, then I built from there, saying 13,000 and all that. But then I used to do that from Monday to Friday in the morning. And then Saturday, of course, the usually social activities to be done. So most of the time, Saturdays I would not do. And then, of course, Sunday is a day